my name is Jeff and I invented Yaks, and today we are going to build all of the tops on a YOX Tops box. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to build every single top, but I'm not going to show you how well they spin. That's for you to figure out. I want you to figure out which one spins the fastest, which one spins the longest, and which one doesn't really spin at all. And even more importantly, I want you to forget all these tops and invent your own, because there are hundreds of potential tops in every YOX Tops box. All right, are you ready? Let's build top number one. So we take two of these X pieces together, you see, just like so. Add a couple of Ys on each side, and then a couple of Os. Now, one of the things you're going to discover is that having something on all four sides of a YOX top is a great way to make that YOX top spin really well. All right, let's see how this goes. Wow, that's hardcore. Okay, YOX top number two. So again, we start with a couple of X links that are put together like so. Add a couple of these blue beams, a couple of orange Ys. Now, one thing you're gonna discover with YOX is that you can connect things in a loose way and a really solid way. So one thing you want to do is give a really big push. Don't worry, you're not going to break YOX. They're really hard to break. So just push them in really tight like that. And then for just a little bit of flair, we're going to add a chip on each side. Like that. And like that. So this is YOX top number two. Let's see how that goes. Now we're going to do YOX top number three. So that's right in the middle of the top of the box. YOX top number three. Now, one thing that's different about this top is that it's a little asymmetrical. So it's going to spin a little differently than other YOX tops. So add a couple blue beams. And then Ys on top of the beams, and then to hold those Ys in, you add chips. Now make sure the chips, the notch doesn't go in, the notch actually avoids the other notch to hold that Y link in, so that when it spins, the Y link doesn't want to spin off. Although if it does spin, or if it does launch itself off, that's kind of cool. All right, let's see, how does this one do? YOX top number three. Ooh, very interesting. All right, now we're gonna build YOX top number four. That is right here on the box. Right there, YOX top number four. This one's getting a little exciting. So we're gonna connect to X links like we're very familiar with, and then add a couple of Ys and a couple of beams. And again, you really want to make sure those connect in there nice and tight so they don't fly off. And then for just a little bit of flair, we're going to put some chips on each side. So this is YOX top number four. YOX top number four. All right, let's see what she's got. Okay, here is YOX top number five. Things are getting real. This is YOX top number five. Two X links coming together like so. And now we're gonna add an O to two X's. Now this is a very interesting feature of YOX. There are two ways to connect an O link to two X's. One way is easier, that we'll click on like this, and it spins, just like that. Pretty cool. If you flip it around though, the other way, it's harder to get on, but once it's on, it doesn't spin as easily. So you're gonna discover that when you make a top with an O link that spins, it actually changes the way the top spins. So you wanna experiment with that. Now we're gonna add a couple of orange Ys, a couple of green Ys, kind of sneaking above and below like that. And then just to make it really look cool, some chips on each side, like that. So that, my friends, is YOX Top number 5. Let's see what this does. It keeps moving. Whoa, whoa, okay. YOX Top number 5. We're halfway done. But again, keep in mind, there are hundreds of potential YOX Tops in the box of YOX Tops box, the YOX Tops box. And so you're really never halfway done. All right, here we go. YOX Top number 6. Now this is a very different feeling top. It's a little guy. And so we're gonna have an O on the top and the bottom. And again, what I recommend is finding the connection that's a little harder, but then doesn't spin freely on both sides. Okay, like that. So it's a little tighter, the O and the X connection. And then to the orange X's, we add green chips. And to the green X's, we add orange chips. And there we've got YOX Top number 6. Let's see what this does. Whoa, ah, okay, wait, let's try that again. That's a fun YOX Top. Now things are gonna get exciting because our tops are gonna start to get a little bit more complex. All right, this is YOX Top number 7. We start by taking an X-link and adding a beam just like that. So that's different than what we've seen before. And then adding Ys to both sides. Oops. So a unique connection there. And then we add O's to both sides. And on top of the O, we're gonna add Y's. So this is creating a lot of mass on the outside of the YOX Top, which is gonna totally change the way the YOX Top spins. All right, you ready to give this one a try? Uh-oh. Luckily, YOX is very durable. Extremely durable, in fact. The beast. YOX Top number 8 is the beast. Here we go. A couple of X links connect together like so. We add O's to two sides, just like so. Green guys on top of the O's, like so. Sneak these guys in. So we've got our beams on each side. And then our Y links on each side. And then our chips holding down the Y links. So now things are getting really serious. This is essentially using all of the YOX links in the kit, except for these two orange X's. Let's see what this does. Wait, safety first, all right? Here we go. Whoa. It just keeps going. YOX top number 9. YOX top number 9 starts with 2 X's connected just like this. Again, our beams go off on each side. And then O's go off also on each side, creating kind of a cool shape. Look at that, that's pretty cool. And then, for a little bit of flair, putting our chips on each beam. And then, like little wings flying off the side, we've got those 2 Y links for YOX top. How does YOX top number 9 spin? Let's find out. It's still going. Okay, now we're gonna build YOX top number 10, the last top on the YOX Tops box. It's right there on the bottom. And this is an incredibly tricky build. So we start with a couple of X's. Go just like that. And again, add our beams going off on each side. And then your Y's also going off on each side. Then we're actually going to add O's to each side, but the way that those O's stay on and stay in place is with a Y link that sneaks in and then you pull up, that locks the O in. So again, you put that in, tilt it, push this Y link all the way in, and then pull it up so that it holds that O link in place. And that, my friends, is YOX top number 10. All right, so that's it, YOX tops. So there's a bunch of other challenges you can try. So you can try to build a YOX top that uses every single link. Try to build a YOX top that uses as few links as possible. Try to build a top that goes as fast as possible. Try to build a top that goes as long as possible. And then experiment with what kinds of tops just don't work. And then why is it that they don't work? There's so much that you can learn about by playing with YOX tops.
This is YOX.